Oh, how's everybody doing today? I certainly hope you're doing well. It's time for another edition of Story Time. Now, I like to let people know whether or not it's a true story or not. It is not a true story. It's a story in which Monty created. Now, this story is going to be a little bit different. This is going to involve what is called viewer participation. In other words, for you to find out the exact meaning of the story, you will have to conduct one certain thing to get the punchline yourself, okay? It's really easy to do. It'll be a piece of cake. We'll walk you through it, all right? So, the name of the story is called Ghost Painter, Mint on Rye. So let's go ahead and begin, shall we? There was an older gentleman who was about 45 years of age, and his name was Roman, and he resided in Seattle, Washington. You see, Roman didn't always reside in Seattle, Washington. He was raised in, of course, Italy when he was very, very young, because he was born in Rome, Italy. From there, his family moved to Rome, New York, in which his father had a business dealing with automotive. Then, when Roman grew up and turned 18 years of age, he decided to travel off to California himself, right? And he went up into the San Rafael area of California. You know, it was pretty pleasant, but it was a little pricey up in there. So he met some friends at some sort of gallery and such, because Roman was a painter. He wasn't a painter as far as interior, exterior, that sort of thing. He was an actual painter of artwork, right? And he could paint anything for you. He could paint the desertscapes and the landscapes and the forests and the oceanscapes and the birds and the bears and fish and all kinds of stuff. But when Roman would do his paintings looked so real, it almost as if you were looking at a photograph. He was very detailed in every single part of the painting, and it looked absolutely like it was a photograph when it was paint on canvas. He dealt only with canvas because he didn't want to monkey around with frames and glass and just a mess. All he has to do is get his canvas stretched on the frame. You know how it is. Paint his piece and he's done, right? So he decided to move to Seattle years back. And even though he maintained a regular job on Saturdays, every Saturday, without fail, depending on the weather, he would show up and he'd set up all his paintings that he had painted the week previous, or maybe months or years prior to. He'd set them all up and he'd get out his easel and his paints and he'd paint something right there on the spot that day. And he'd sell all the other ones, right? Hell, this has been going on for years and years. He's making quite a bit of money off to the side because he had his regular job. And he's just doing this for extra income, plus he enjoys it, right? Well, one Saturday pops around and this woman came up to him and says, "How much for that painting right there?" And it was a little lighthouse, ocean, the light was beaming, little bitty boats out there. And again, even though the painting was on canvas and it was under some sort of photographic representation, it really was paint on canvas. You could feel the paint. And Roman never signed his work. He never put initials off to the right or left or hid it anywhere in the photograph, or, the painting in this case, because he felt that it was a disrespect to the work, right? That's why he never did it. You could always find his signature or his identification on the back of the piece because he didn't want to corrupt the image itself. Pretty slick, right? So, this woman stepped up and she wants to buy this painting there of that lighthouse. She's like, "Well, how much?" Roman says, "Actually, that one there took me a long time to paint because it's kind of detailed." She goes, "How much for it? How much you want?" He goes, "I want $300. She kind of kicked her head back like this. But she's not kicking her head back because she thought it was too pricey. She's kicking her head back because she thought it's too cheap. Because see, old Rachel there, that's her name, she got more money than the Lord. You got me? Because for every single time a cell phone is sold, she makes 37 cents off of that through some sort of royalty, because her father developed software that goes in every single cell phone globally. So for every cell phone that is sold globally, she gets 37 cents. It's amazing. She got a lot of money, right? So he goes, is there a problem? Because she's kicking her head back like that. She goes, no. She goes, oh. She reaches in her purse. She gives him $300. She goes, no, the reason why I was kicking my head back is I just thought it was too low. He goes, you did? She goes, absolutely. She goes, this is magnificent work. She goes, listen, I know I don't know you. And she's like, what's your name? He goes, oh, my name's Roman. She goes, how long have you been painting? He goes, all my life. She goes, you know something? She reaches in her purse again. She gives out a little business card. She goes, do you know where this restaurant is? It's down, and they're having some little discussion. He goes, oh yeah, I know where it's at. She goes, if you're not busy tomorrow, which is going to be Sunday. He goes, oh no, I take Sunday off, you know. She goes, okay, no. He goes, no, that's not what I meant. I don't work, I don't paint, I don't do anything. You know, that's my day for going out to the movies or getting ice cream, that sort of thing. It's just my day, right? She goes, okay. Will you meet me at this restaurant tomorrow and we can discuss things? I would like to commission you for a job. Oh, he's so excited, I tell you what. He's like, of course I will. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, unless you're an artist or you've ever known an artist or you've been an artist yourself, when you get commissioned, that's like hitting art lottery, because it doesn't happen very often. It doesn't. And when you get commissioned to do a certain specific piece for a specific reason, for a specific person, or a specific entity, it truly is like hitting psychologically, emotionally, and financially the art lottery. That's how rare it is. It doesn't happen very often. Because there are tens of millions, hundreds of millions of artists, but there's very few people that are being commissioned for certain pieces and certain works and certain places. It just doesn't happen very often, right? And if it does, you hit the art lottery. Because that's where people make their, big money from. That's where people make names for themselves. In a lot of cases, those pieces of art or sculptures or whatever it is, whatever the medium is going to be seen not only by the people that commissioned the work, but the general public in most cases, right? So Sunday rolls around, he's excited, he can't wait to, what you want to commission him about? Something's going on. He just met this woman, but hey, after all, she did flop down $300 like it was nothing, right? She seemed like a pretty pleasant lady. He didn't really know about her finances. You know about it because Monty wrote the story and I'm telling you about it, right? So they meet at that restaurant. She's got two other people with her. She introduces the two other people as the individuals that take care of her fiduciary duties when she's out of town. They also take care of any shipping that needs to be done. They also take care of her, driving her to certain locations and security and that sort of stuff, right? So she gets to talking to Roman. She says, Roman, I would like to commission you to create a piece of art for me. It's going to be 3 feet high, 5 feet long on canvas. And the image has to be some sort of romantic scene. A man and a woman walking in the park, let's say. And the woman has her hand on the man's chest, some sort of signal or some sort of, sign of endearment. You can see their closeness within the piece. Maybe they're at a park. Maybe there's a bench or something in the background with some birds, and maybe there's a little fog coming off the, the lake there, or something like that. I don't know exact, but can you do something like that? Roman's like, with ease. No problem. Be a piece of cake. It'd be the easiest thing I ever did, I swear. He goes, well, what are you going to be willing to pay a guy to paint such a large piece about? I mean, is there anything that you could say that you'd be willing to give me maybe a little advancement? money down, so to speak. She goes, I'll tell you what, I'll give you $1,000 down, $1,000 right out the gate. I'll pay you $5,000 for this piece. His eyes light up, boy. $5,000? Yeah, that's a lot of bread. Because Roman can paint paintings. Sometimes it takes him a week or two. I mean, maybe 3 weeks. I mean, a 3 foot by 5 foot is a monster piece. It sure is. Absolutely, right? But he's going to do it. She goes, here's the catch. And I don't mean to be disrespectful, but these are the terms in which you're to do this painting if you so agree. I need you to find out if it's at all possible for you to maybe rent a warehouse. He goes, oh no, I already have a warehouse. No, I already have a warehouse. It's very small, but it's easy, you know, for me to make a painting. He goes, oh no, that's taken care of. I have my own place aside from that, away from the warehouse. He goes, I understand contracts because I had to sign a lease. He goes, no, it's all settled. You know, I can do this job. I'll do this job for you. No problem. He's all excited, right? So $5,000 to Rachel isn't nothing. That's like peanuts, right? She probably makes that lunch money, right? He doesn't know that. He doesn't care. She goes, so here's the thing there, Roman. You've heard of ghostwriters, right? You know, people that write books for other people. And the people they write those books for, they end up getting the credit for writing the book, even though they didn't write the book. It's called ghost writers. In other words, they're the silent partner of this, you know, situation. I want you to be my ghost painter. He goes, ghost painter? What does that mean exactly? She goes, you're going to paint this painting. And essentially, I'm going to pay you big money. And I'm going to take credit for that painting, even though I didn't paint it. And you're just going to shut your mouth about it. What do you say? He gets thinking about that. And see, if you're an artist, you understand that's almost like disrespect to yourself. But you are being commissioned. What's more important? Then Roman starts thinking to himself, well, I have made thousands of paintings over time. I've never really been commissioned, not for this big of a project. He's just thinking to himself, you know. He goes, what do I care what she does with it? If she commissioned me to do this painting and she said she wanted to, you know, set it on fire afterwards for some other sort of artwork, why would I care? So he signs a contract. He agrees to those terms that he's going to be her ghost painter. And that's what he becomes. Right? They shake hands, the whole 9 yards. Rachel tells old Roman she's going to have the canvas delivered, this 3 foot by 5 foot, to his warehouse, get the address and all that sort of stuff. She will provide him with all the paints, all the supplies, the brushes, everything that he needs above and beyond the commission of the piece. I mean, where can this guy go wrong? He can't go wrong, right? They leave from the meeting Monday morning, about 9 a.m. Somebody's ringing his buzzer. Right? He goes up. Can I help you? Yeah, you got a special delivery, UPS here. It's pretty large. Here comes the canvas. He opens the door. Guys, he's wheeling it in. It's not heavy. But so what? It doesn't matter, right? And it's the blank piece of canvas. Stretched and wrapped. Where do you want this? Oh, just set it over there. He pulls out his notes. Roman does. He's looking at his notes where Rachel specifically said she wanted some sort of scene of a couple together, a male and a female, some sort of scene of endearment, maybe romance, closeness, right? At a park, they're walking in the park, right? And immediately, he starts pulling out his painting. He's doing all the background stuff, right? He's got a little bit of gray in there. He's put a little bit of mist in the air. And I'm telling you what, within about 6 hours, he has this piece completed. It's totally finished. And it's magnificent. Oh, it is. It is a magnificent piece. And it is almost romantic, but not quite, in that area. In other words, when you look at it, you feel so relieved and comfortable, and it reminds you of somebody that you know or somebody that you knew. It's that kind of painting. And you can go to the side of the painting and that couple will actually follow you regardless of where you stand in and around the painting itself. That's how you know you have a masterpiece. Where the painting will actually follow you. The focal point, right? But what's in the painting exactly? He does. He has the couple, and the woman has her hand on the chest of the man. The man is taller than her, of course. Sort of that sign of endearment. She's looking up at him a bit, right? And the man is holding an umbrella with his right hand, right? And in the background is a bench, right? And in the background behind the bench is some grass, a little bit of mist creeping up off the grass, and behind the grass is a little pond, and beyond the pond there's little birds and little trees and such. But in the front part of the picture there's some raspberries over here. So you got the raspberries, and you got the couple with the umbrella, with the bench, with the grass, with the pond, with the trees and little birds. It's got a little bit of mist coming up off the grass, a little bit foggy, there's a little bit of rain. Oh man, it's magnificent. It truly is. And because the way Roman does his paintings, it looks so real. Oh, it's like a photograph. But you can actually get up on there with your fingers and feel the paint, the brush strokes. Right? Oh, it's something else. He is so excited. He can't even believe that he has finished this piece in 6 hours. Are you kidding me? So then he turns around, he gets the hairspray out, and shh. You know how it is. You put the hairspray on it to kind of like protect it, right? To protect it from like little scratches and little pieces of dust and all that stuff. He's so excited, man. He really is. He goes out and gets himself a big old supper, right, to celebrate what he's done. He hasn't even told Rachel. And he's trying to figure out, do I tell her? Do I tell her that I got it done in 6 hours? Would it matter? Would it matter that he finished his masterpiece in 6 hours instead of 2 weeks or 3 days or 5 months? Would it matter? No, it wouldn't matter. And he's going to call her too. He's going to call her and tell her. But he needs a little bit of time to think about that, to make sure he's making the right decision. Because after all, who in the hell on this earth makes $5,000 in 6 hours? Right? He's pretty excited about it. And it is a beautiful piece. If you could see it in this mind, you would see it, right? But maybe you can see it in your mind, right? Oh, it's something else, right? Something else. So he gets himself a big old supper and he comes back to the gallery there. Right? Hell, it's late afternoon. And it's not quite deep winter, but it's winter time. In other words, when it's 4 o'clock, it's dark out. One of them type of things, right? So here it is, it's kind of dark out. Or it's creeping into that twilight, into darkness, you know. Because wintertime is like that. Because I don't like it, but you know how it is, right? So about 7 o'clock, he decides, you know something? I'm going to do some final touches up and make sure that I get the paint on all the way around so there's no problem, there's no issue, because the last thing you want is someone to commission you to do a job and then find some sort of problem with it. Find some sort of mistake, find some sort of misbrush, find some sort of area that wasn't filled in with paint. You don't want any of that going on. No, no. You want it perfect. You want them so happy that they're going to hire you again, right? So he's got to do all that. He's like, I can't call her just quite yet because maybe she'd say, I want to go see her right now, right? So he's going over the painting and he's just making sure, okay, I got everything there, everything's good. And he starts hearing some whispering. He stops. He's like, wait a minute. Who the hell is whispering? There ain't nobody here but him, right? So he gets his happy ass up there and he starts looking around. He goes into like a little kitchenette thing, you know, where he makes all his tea and little, snacks and such. He waltzes into the bathroom because it's kind of warehouse looking place, right? And then he goes into his little offices here. No, nobody's there. He comes back and he starts hearing those whispers again. He just stops everything, right? He's trying to really peer in on where that noise is coming from. Where are those whispers coming from, right? They're coming from the painting. Oh no. Oh no. How could it be coming from the painting? It's a painting, for Christ's sakes, right? So he starts getting closer and closer, putting his ear close to the painting, putting his ear close to the faces of the couple that he just painted underneath the umbrella at the park. And sure enough, that's where the whispers are coming from. And as he gets closer, what are they saying? Mint on rye. The end is nigh. No one escapes the law of fives. It's like, whoa, 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 what? What did you just say? What did you just say? He's thinking, oh man, he goes, man, I don't know what's wrong. Oh, am I tired? I'm hallucinating, hearing things, what's going on? I'm going to make myself some tea. So he races in over there, he puts on his tea kettle, right? He comes back over. He's like, talk to me. What did you say? Say that again. He's got out his notepad and he's got out his pen. He's listening there. Whispers. And they say to him like this. Mint on rye, the end is nigh. No one escapes the law of fives. He writes that down. He's got it now. But what does it say? He gets out his piece of paper and it says, mint on rye, the end is nigh. No one escapes the law of fives. He doesn't even know what that means. That is crazy. I mean, that's like super crazy. He's like, what does that even mean? Mint on rye. Mint on rye. Is that a book? Then he decides, you know what? He doesn't have time for this mess. He just doesn't have time for it at all. He's going to place a call into Rachel and he's going to say, you know what? I'm done. If you want to come and see it today, you can come and see it today. If you want to come and see it tomorrow, whatever. He's going to give her the opportunity. If she wants to see it right now, then she can. So he feels pretty confident. Who cares if it took him 6 hours to create this masterpiece? Maybe 7 or 8 because he had to go back and finalize and make sure everything was perfect. Who cares? So he calls Rachel up on the phone. He says, Rachel, I just want to let you know this is Roman. I got your piece already done. I know that's hard to believe, but you should see it. It's just absolutely magnificent. And you can come by today or tomorrow or whatever you want to do. It really doesn't matter to me. And all of a sudden, the kettle starts whistling. He goes, oh, hold that thought. I'm not done with my message. I'll be right back. My tea is whistling, all right? He races off there. He pours his tea, puts a little sugar in there. He races back. He goes, okay, let me go ahead and finish my message. You're going to have to bring your guys. They're going to have to crate this thing because you got to protect it. And I don't know if you know how all this works, but I'm just trying to help you. And if there's certain ways that you can protect it, you know, from the humidity or moisture. And he's going through all this. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hangs up the phone. He is so happy with himself. He's looking at his prized possession, knowing he's got to give it away. That's horrible, isn't it? But hey, he's being commissioned. He signed a contract. So about 10 minutes later, he gets a phone call. But who's it from? Well, it's from Rachel, of course. She calls him up. She goes, you know what? How about if we meet 9 o'clock at the warehouse? I'll come right there. I'll bring the fellas with me. They'll crate it up. We'll get it out of here. I'll pay you the rest of the money. And we'll see how things go. Maybe I can commission you again. Oh, he's all excited. He's like, oh, that sounds fantastic. And she goes, before I go, I did want to say, do you have people over there? He goes, well, what do you mean? She goes, well, I heard some whispering going on. Something about mint on rye. His eyes get this big around. He goes, what? What did you say? She goes, yeah, in the message they were talking about mint on rye and something to do with the end and some law stuff. Do you get people over? I mean, it's not my business. I was just curious if somebody else has seen the painting before I did. He's like, oh no. He goes, I had the television on, or I was listening to some radio show. They're telling some story. Oh, okay. And she discounted it. After he hung up the phone with her, he's asked himself, he's like, wait a minute. Mint on rye. He got out his notes again because she repeated. That would mean that those whispers actually were coming from the painting. He's looking up at the painting. What is this mint on rye stuff? He's talking to a painting. What is this mint on rye? Mint on rye, what does it even mean? He starts to get a little angry, right? You hear a little tone in his voice. He's getting a little frustrated because now he knows for a fact that he wasn't hallucinating, wasn't hearing things, because actually the painting did say those things. But how? Well, when he went to go get his tea. And the message was being delivered from the painting to the... What? He can't even believe it. He gets up on the computer and he types in mint on rye. What does that mean? And out of the hundreds of trillions of possibilities that could have been had on Google search, nothing comes up for mint on rye. That's impossible. Mint is very common. Rye is very common. Why is it that mint on rye doesn't even come up? It's a phrase, big deal. But it should come up, but it doesn't. So he types in again, the end is nigh. Bam! It comes up. What is it? The end is nigh. The end is nigh does come up. And it's a game. And in that game you die several times, but it's no big deal because chances are you're already dead. That's the parameters of the game. Then he decides to type in the law of fives. Bam! It comes up. But what is the law of fives? Well, the law of fives is basically an elitist's or New World Order-ish or Illuminati or Illuminesque type phrase or paragraph that suggests that everything happens in fives. This is why the number 23 is incredibly important, because 23 equates to 5. But why is it that mint on rye doesn't come up? Why not? Out of the hundreds of trillions of possibilities, you mean to tell me mint on rye does not come up in a Google search? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It will after this video, but it hadn't before. But why? How is that possible? So Roman decides to go on the internet and he starts typing in mint. He wants to know everything about mint. Where did mint come from? The origins of mint. How is it abundant? Where is it found? What is the duration of its lifespan? He wants to know everything about mint. He does the same thing for rye. He gets into Google search and types in rye. He wants to know every last detail about rye. Where is the origin of rye? Where was it first made? Is there abundance of rye? What's the ingredients to make rye? What happens when rye starts to deteriorate or whatever? Starts to mold and such. He wants to know every last thing about rye. Then he's put in mint and rye, and everybody knows what on means, right? He's going out of his mind. Truly. He can't even understand it, what's happening. He can't be flipping out about it. He's got a meeting with Rachel in the morning because she's going to come over there and look at that painting and see if she's going to buy it. Of course she's going to buy it, but she's got to be totally pleased. Here he is embarrassed. She's thinking that somebody else has seen her masterpiece before she did, which is, oh man, that's bad news. You can't be doing that. So he's got to explain to her what the hell mint on rye means. He's calling up his friends. Hey man, listen, I hate to bother you. I know it's getting kind of late, but have you ever heard of mint on rye? Mint on rye? What the hell is a mint on rye? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. If Google doesn't know, it doesn't exist, right? I mean, this guy's going crazy. Then at a certain point in time, he's thinking, well, I got to get home. I got to get some sleep. I got to be ready When Rachel gets here, she's got to be totally satisfied. He gets so creeped out. You know what, I'm not even going to go home. I'll just lay on the couch here in the warehouse and I'll just go to sleep and I'll meet her, whenever. And that's what he does. He lays his head down and he goes right to sleep. So then, he turns around in the morning. His alarm's going off. He hits it. Oh, give me another 8 minutes. I need to sleep, 8 minutes go by. Hits it. Telephone rings. Who's on the other end? It's going to be Rich. She's going to be in there in an hour. He's got to get his happy ass up, take a little bird bath, freshen up, clean up, eat a little something, right? Get his tea or whatever he does. All said, she's ringing the door. He's ready for her. They just waltz right in. She comes in. She looks at that painting. She's like, she's kind of quiet. She's like, oh my God, this thing is magnificent. Oh, this is just absolutely. She's like, fellas, come over here and cart this thing up. She turns around and gives them money for it, the whole 9 yards. It's just unbelievable. Right? So then she turns around and says, maybe we can work again. I'll let you know. He goes, well, a couple of days, couple of weeks. She goes, probably a couple of weeks. He's like, cool. Are you really happy with it? She goes, I love it. It's great. All the colors are just pristine. They're beautiful. She's like, okay. Takes it out of there. She leaves. A couple of days go by, and he's still working his part-time job when he goes in there. And then on Saturdays, he goes out there to the pier, and he sets up his easel. He's got his painting. He's painting something right there while he's selling things, right? And that Sunday is his day, he just does nothing. He doesn't go to work for anybody. He's not at the pier. He's not painting in most cases. That's his time to eat ice cream and go to the movies, that sort of thing. So then, Sunday rolls around and, well, he goes over to his warehouse there and he's just kind of tooling around, looking at all the other works that he did. He was thinking about the commission work that he did for Rachel. And he comes across his notations about the mint on rye. Here we go again. It's starting to bug him. Mint on rye, mint on rye, mint on rye. He starts walking out into the street, these little restaurants and such, and he's asking people, have you ever heard of a thing called mint on rye? They're like, mint on rye? No. People are in there Googling right on their phones. Hold on a second. Hold on before you walk away. Here, let me see if I can find it. Mint on rye. Nope, I can't see anything. Something else, right? So he goes back to his warehouse there. He grabs his notes and he's like, okay, when I Google the end is nigh, does it again. Boom, it comes up. When I Google the law of fives, boom, it comes up. When I type in mint on rye, it doesn't come up. Why? That doesn't make sense. He goes, man, this is driving me crazy, man. This is driving me nuts. And I got a painting that's leaving messages for the person that commissioned me for the... what's going on? I just don't get it. He's like losing it, you know what I mean? Then he turns around and he takes another little nappy on the couch there, but that nap turns into like a 10-hour event. He sleeps an entire 10 hours. You can't even believe it, right? So here it is, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. His door's buzzing at the warehouse. Who in the heck is that? Here it's Monday. He has nothing planned. He knows of no deliveries. Nothing's supposed to be here. Hello, who is it? It's UPS. A UPS, we got a special delivery. Who's it from? I can't really read it that well, but it looks like New York. You say, oh, it's probably Rachel. Yeah, come on up, all right? Or come on in, rather. He opens the door, and this thing's about this big. Pretty good size, about that thick. It's a big and heavy package. Pretty good size. And it's got a lot of weight to it. Boy, something else. He's like, okay, he signs for it and off he goes, right? He's shaking this thing. He brings it over to the counter over there where he makes his tea and make little snacks and such in the warehouse. He undoes the packaging and such. And it's a book. His book is pretty huge. It's pretty, I mean, tons of pages, about this thick, right? What the hell? And on the cover of it are 2 loaves of bread with a little bit of mint on one of the loaves of bread. And the name of the book is called Mint on Rye. He's like, Mint on Rye. Now I get a book that is sent from who knows who, New York, with mint on rye. He goes to the first page. He goes into the index to see what's on the first page. There's nothing on the first page. There is no indexing. He goes into like the 25th page. He opens up the book. There's nothing there. All the pages are blank. He goes to the middle part of the book. He opens up. All the pages are blank. How's this possible? The very last page is also blank, but on the left-hand corner it says 555. Wait a minute. 555, 3 times 5 is 15. 3 divided by 15 would be 5. 555. 555 pages, but all the pages are blank. The only thing that you see is on the cover, you got these 2 loaves of bread with a little bit of mint there, and it's called Mint on Rye. What the hell does Mint on Rye mean? What does it mean? He's starting to lose it, man. For real. I've Googled this thing. I've asked people. I asked people if there was a book called Mint on Rye, and they all said, no. Who did this come from? He grabs his glasses. He looks at the information there, and who did it come from? Yeah, it came from New York, New York, New York, the United Nations. What do you mean the United Nations? Why is the United Nations sending me, a little bitty artist in Seattle that paints paintings, a book called Mint on Rye? How is that possible? Why? He knows a woman that works at a library, right? And it's close by. He's going to take that book down there. He's going to ask her if she's ever heard of a book called Mint on Rye. He's also going to ask her as she's ever heard of a book with 555 pages where all the pages are blank, with no index, no author. What the hell is going on? He's flipping out, man. I'd be flipping out too, right? He races down there. He's got that book in hand, and it's a hardback book. Oh, man, we're not talking about some paperback. No, sir, no, ma'am, we're talking a hardback. He races down there. He goes up to her and he says, listen, I got this book. I got this book in the mail. Mint on Rye. Have you ever heard such a thing? She goes, hang on, I can look. No, don't look it up. Everybody else has looked up. It doesn't exist. But I got this book from the United Nations out of New York, New York. The name of the book is Mint on Rye. But there's no index, there's no author, there's nothing on the pages all the way through. He's flipping through all the... She goes, wow, that is the strangest thing I've ever seen in my life. She goes, maybe somebody's playing a joke on you. He goes, a joke? What kind of joke? I don't know, people play jokes sometimes. He goes, the United Nations? Do you even know who these people are? He goes, yeah, I know who they are, and you should know who they are, and it's kind of a creepy situation. We're talking about world affairs. She goes, wow, that is strange. She goes, you know something? I do know someone that used to work at the Smithsonian. And he is absolutely brilliant when it comes to all kinds of books and just everything about books. He knows everything about books, about the paper in which they're written on, about the binding, he knows about everything. So I tell you what I'm going to do there, Roman. How about if I take your book and I'm going to make a scan of it on a scanner so that way I can send that to him and he can take a look at it and see what he thinks as far as the cover and that sort of thing. The pictorial representation. He goes, that's a great idea. So she takes the book, she got the scanner, right? She puts the cover of the book there with Mint on Rye. She hits a button and you know how it scans, right? And on the computer screen, you know, it's going to show what was scanned. No, it's not. Because when it scanned the cover, did the 2 loaves of bread and the mint on the loaf of bread come up for mint on rye? No, sir, no, ma'am. Guess what came up? The picture that he painted of the 2 people underneath the umbrella. Brrr. He's like, wait a minute. He's like, wait a minute. That's impossible. He tries to explain to the lady at the library. He's like, wait. That's impossible. That's impossible. Oh, okay, what you're seeing of the umbrella, that is a painting that was commissioned by this woman, and this lady's looking at her like, man, are you okay? Because he's visibly shaken, right? She's like, man, are you sure you're okay? And he starts like shaking. He's like, oh my God, I can't. He goes, all right, let me have the book. She goes, okay, well, hold on a second before you panic. Maybe it's possible that there was some corruption of data. Maybe somebody, don't worry about, we'll take a picture of it with a cell phone. That's what she does. She sets up the mint on rye book up against, a little white background. She takes a picture. But guess what? When the picture comes back, what is it of? It's of the couple. The painting that he painted. But you see, there's a problem because there's like a red dot right center. A red dot. Like almost dead center of the image, right where the guy's holding the umbrella with his right hand. He's like, wait, he's looking at it, he said, listen, there's no way that red dot should be there. When I won't release a painting unless it's perfect. There's no way that she would have paid me if there's a red dot in the middle of the, and he starts going on. She's like, sir, are you okay? Are you going to be all right? He goes, all right, just give me the book, right? He takes a book and he's starting to get more and more shaken. He gets in his car and he starts screaming at himself. He's like, how could you be mint on rye? He's losing it, right? He gets back to the warehouse. He goes, oh, how's this possible? He grabs his own phone. He sets it up there on the wall. He takes a picture of it. And what's the image come back as? Sure enough, the painting that he painted of the couple holding the umbrella. And a red dot right in the center. Right? He's really getting pissed off. Like, extremely upset. Extremely upset. So he's like, okay, wait a minute. Maybe if I take pictures of the pages, I wonder what'll happen then. He opens up the book, first page. He goes back and takes a picture. What is it? San Francisco, 1905. Whoa! The page is blank. How could he take a picture from his cell phone, but now in the picture from the cell phone it's a photograph of like a newspaper clipping of San Francisco 1905. What is going on? He turns the page, the second page, takes another picture. It is San Francisco 1906 after the earthquake. Wait a minute. What? He goes to the third page, takes a picture of that. What is that picture? England, 1944. Right? During the war. The war is happening in Europe. Right? All kinds of crazy things are happening. He goes to page 4. Then he's getting a visual representation of Pearl Harbor. The day before Pearl Harbor happened where the United States was involved in World War II. Page 5, the after effects of Pearl Harbor. And he does this all throughout the book. And what is it? What is happening with mint on rye? The mint on rye is nothing but 555 pages of history throughout the world, before and after, before and after. It's quite fascinating. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah. But what's on the 555th page? Well, on the 555th page, it's 2019. And it looks pretty glorious of the United States. and of the world, because there's certain imagery of the United States is predominantly most of the image, but there's all these countries around it. What does it all mean? And throughout the book, every time you take a picture of the blank page, the first page would be prior to, the second page would be the effects of after. Throughout history, both nationally and internationally. He's fascinated. Then all of a sudden, his phone rings. He immediately answers that phone, right? Hello. And it's Rachel on the other side. She's like, hey, Roman, I have wonderful news. I want to commission you again to do another painting. I sure do. He goes, oh, that's fantastic. She goes, how about if we meet at the same restaurant? I'll bring the contract with. I'll, bring your notes and your notepad and you figure out what I want exactly. What do you say? He goes, oh, yeah, that sounds great. Oh, he's pretty excited about it. He sure is, right? But he's still pacing back and forth after that phone call about mint on rye. So somebody at the United Nations took the time to send him a book with nothing in it. And it was just by mere chance that it was figured out that if you took photographs of the empty pages, that the electronic representation of those empty pages would essentially tell you all of history starting from 1905 San Francisco. Wow. Pretty intense. So next day runs along and he's supposed to meet there Rachel at the restaurant, which he does with her two people that always are with her for security and drive her around and such. And she wants to commission Roman again to make yet another image for her, another painting. Something a little bit more risque, something a little more on the line, if you will. Not to cross the line, because of course these paintings have to be able to be shown in public to the general public and not to offend anyone, right? She wants to at least keep them classy and respectful. She says, I tell you what, I'll pay you $15,000 for this one. But it's going to be a little bit more risque. Can you do that? Oh, yeah, no problem. What do you want? She goes, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing a church. And I don't know what color you want to make the cross. All I want to tell you is that this church is rather large. There's pillars of the church. And as you walk out of the church, there'd be like some steps that are headed down. And in between all the steps, there's like a rail, a handrail. What I'm looking for is maybe a man and a woman. The woman is leaning over. She's got her back leaning over the handrail there as her hair is hanging down. She's got maybe some thick lipstick. Maybe she has a little bit of makeup on her face. And the man is like approaching her, is embracing her some way. And she has her hand on his chest and is giving that like kinetic push-pull where her fingernails are kind of like in his chest a little bit. Maybe his shirt is open. Something in that area. Can you do that? He goes, oh, yeah, sure, absolutely. No problem. No problem. She goes, I tell you what, I'm going to give you $3,000 cash right now. She pays him up right there. Again, we'll do the same sort of thing. I will have the canvas delivered to you. All your paint supplies, everything above and beyond of the commission work will be paid for in full. And when you're done, just give me a call. He goes, okay, no problem. So they wrap up that meeting. He goes back to the warehouse there. He's getting ready to do all his stuff. I tell you what, it's the darndest thing. First thing he sees, he's got to move all this stuff out of the way, get all the canvas and that set up as soon as, in preparation to do this big old job. He looks down at his notepad there, and what does he see? Mint on rye. The end is nigh. No one escapes the law of fives. Oh, man. Mint on rye. Mint on rye. What the hell is that? Somebody's at his door again. What the heck is going on? Who is it? Special delivery UPS. Yeah. What the heck is all this about, right? probably from Rachel. He races over, he's like, geez, I just saw her the other day. I didn't think she was out of town. But there are these things called jets and that to take people all the countries, like minutes, hours, right? UPS, come in. Guy's got a little package about this one. It's kind of small. It's lightweight. Okay. Who's this come from? This one here is coming from Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico? Okay. Signs for it. Off he goes. He opens up the box. There's nothing in the box. Oh, there is. There's just a piece of paper. And what's on the piece of paper? Writing in English, this says M-O-R. More. M-O-R. Immediately, he goes to a computer, he types in more, M-O-R. Well, some stuff comes up, but lots of M-O-O-R, the Moors. Everybody knew about the Moors, right? More. Is it M-O-R-E? Did they forget the E? No, they didn't. You got more. More. What does that mean? Then he takes a piece of paper and he decides, you know what, I'm going to take a picture of this just to see what this is all about. Right? He puts the piece of paper there on a background, white background. Takes a picture of it. And what does it say? Oh, it says more, all right, but it's a little bit more than more. M, it says mint. O, on, and then R, rye. Mint on rye. He's like, oh, mint on rye. What does this mean? More. He's like, wait a minute. Let me find everything there is to know about more. I'm going to find more about more. I sure am. But then what does he do? He goes throughout the internet. He's looking at all the images, everything to do with the videos, everything to do with writing, every sort of book that says more, anything that had the word more in it, he's got it. And then he gets to thinking, wait a minute, there's got to be more to more. What is the numeric translation of M-O-R, which really stands for mint on rye? M, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M. Oh, 13. So he writes it down. Let's do it together. 13 dash. Okay, O. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. Oh, that would be 15. Okay. Okay, R. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. That would be 18. 13, 15, 18. What does it mean? Look it up. I'm monographed, and if you can't speak freely, you're simply not free.